Here's what I wrote.
All right. About community break strategy. Yes, perfect. That is really good. Exactly what the article's about. I'm assuming we don't know for sure, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure that it is.
yeah. Um, you might be more specific here and refer to the fact that it's the students,
Yeah,
middle school students.
yeah, it's
But
a middle school
really,
students.
it applies to
But it applies
every
to
other.
like a lot of people in general because
Okay, so the next thing is that you're not actually supposed to read the article yet. You're supposed to skim it, which means just kind of looking at keywords, or
like just speed reading.
you're not really even reading it. You're just like seeing if something stands out to you, maybe reading because speed reading, you're actually looking at it line by line. You're just like grabbing the stuff that you need. I don't really think that it's a useful strategy, truly. I actually think you need to, not you, but I think you actually should just read it at some point. Um, so, uh, uh, I don't know. I guess you have to do this because it says so. So why don't you skim the article and then figure out what you've learned?
Skim
Yeah, don't read it, but just skim
this.
it, see what you find out.
Okay, so so from what I've skimmed, they mentioned that last year officials banned students' cell phone use for an entire school day from 8:10 a.m. to 2:40,
Okay.
following a variety of issues at the school tied to the devices. I thought that was the normal thing because when I was in elementary school, they never let us use our cell phones until like 2:40 or like 2:50 actually. So I
It's
guess that
there's a wide range of things. Some schools um totally ban them. Some schools, the teachers in every classroom, they ask them to put them in like a what used to be what for like shoes, like kind of a holder for them. Some
Mhm.
just say don't get it out. Um, some schools have policies, some don't.
Yeah.
It's a real challenge. I mean, it's actually the same issue at the workplace. Like, I don't know what I don't really know. I mean, you have
Because
to.
I remember in middle school, we were only allowed to keep our phones in our backpacks and lockers. And if you were caught with it, you couldn't have it till the end of the day. So yeah.
Right, but then there's this like, well, it's personal property. There's all these sort of issues of like whether they can take it away from you or not. Um, but when you're ice skating, do you ever have your phone when you're ice skating?
No, I keep it in my skating bag.
Right. And why not? Why don't you have it out when you're on the ice?
I'm too busy doing
Right,
practice to even know that it's there.
right. So perhaps that's the real problem, is that if we weren't so bored, we wouldn't need our devices.
Yeah.
So it'd be very hard to do what you do on the ice with a phone in your hand.
Yeah. Also, I just wouldn't do that in general because that would make me fall.
Right. Yeah. Um, so yeah, we need some, some words that say kind of what you said there, how they initially something you learned about how they had the initial ban, and maybe you can find out what caused it. You said a number of issues. I don't know if it says specifically what the issues are.
Yeah, let me go find if they mention any of the issues. Well, he said that there was no cross the table conversations, no interactions in the hallway. There was a lot of drama that comes from the social media and the conflict that also comes from it, so I assume that those three things were the biggest problem.
Sounds good. Why don't you put all that into a sentence or two?
All right, there we go.
Okay. All right. The reason why school band funds is for so that definitely meets the word requirement. Okay. Uh, though again, I don't really understand this. I don't understand what they're doing here, but let's like you to do four, you really have to read to do five. Okay. You need to read the full article to know if there's any words that you don't understand. So what I'd like you to do, I guess now, and we'll both do it, is read the article fully and look for any unfamiliar words, and then we'll talk about what we learned from the article.
Okay.
Maybe you've already read it, but that's the next step here. Ivana, have you finished reading?
Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay, so the only word that stood out to me is the word bogus.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down. What I always do is I always choose a few just to see if um so here's one that I found. Um
Okay, gambit. I wonder what bogus means. I'm gonna search it up.
so go ahead and
I know gambit is also a meaning in chess.
but we're not
Yeah, but we're not
using
talking
those.
about chess.
So just use the internet. What I think what I'd like to see you do here is give me a definition of each, and then we could talk about how they were used. So we want a nice definition, copy and paste from the internet.
All right, I got him.
All right, so not genuine, true or fake. Okay. And then how was it used? Now, if you don't know about control find, you'll definitely want to look that up. Um, and then median is the middle value. Right. So could you next look up how they were used or like the context of how they were used?
Let me
And that's
go
where we
to.
want to, that's where we want to add a sentence. The word bogus was used, and that's where you're going to give the context of it.
Okay. Here's what I wrote for bogus.
Okay. Let's take a
it was
look.
using a it was using a quote, so I just also copy and pasted the quote.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to get that much detail. I mean that's great. Actually, it's going like above and beyond. Um, you can. It's really more that you want to say like you want to talk about how it's used, like from the definition. So what are they trying? Like why do they use bogus in this sentence? That's what's missing here is you have to explain why the word bogus was used.
Um,
Why
okay.
does it fit, in the sentence? Any questions I can answer or
Um, no, I'm good for right now. Right now, so I'm just trying to figure out how to write this out. I'm almost
so
done, don't worry.
okay, I mean just to be clear, the parents are basically saying like we agree with this. It's not, and the reason they're using the word bogus is because if they didn't agree with it, they would say, no, this is, excuse me, this is bogus. This is silly. We don't need to be, but they're like, no, 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 we need to like do something about the cell phones.
Yeah, that's kind of what I tried to write. You can like
Right.
check in the chat
Perfect.
to see what I wrote, and you can just
That's
like edit
perfect.
it.
That's perfect. Okay. So here's what you do. You don't have to include the quote, but you can. You absolutely can, because we got to do the same thing here for Gambit. This is actually really good analysis that you're doing. This will be really good for when you write papers, research papers down the road. This is the type of analysis that you have to do. But unfortunately, you have to do the same thing here. You got to go find where Gambit is used and then explain how it it is used in this definition. Like the definition will tell you how it's used in the sentence. So you have to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's what I wrote for Gambit.
All right, let's take a look. All right, that's fine. I like that a lot better. And then median is more of a math term. Um, they are just trying to describe the middle of the data set. Like sometimes it's more appropriate to use a median compared to an average. So
Mm-hmm.
just say that in whatever context you find it in, just say that it's it's used to show the center of the data. I'll write that down here.
Okay. All right, here's what I wrote for median.
Perfect. Yeah. So the way it's used here is like it's not that kids are using it for 6.5 hours, which is a long time. It's like the like typical student is using it for 43 minutes. Um, good. Uh, so what did you learn? Uh, and I can share what I learned. You kind of already alluded to it. You're like, huh, I thought phones were banned in schools already. That was one of the things you learned, maybe that they're not all 100% banned in schools. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I also thought the results kind of the were pretty like the pickups. I don't know if you turn on screen time or what, I don't know where it monitors your phone, but it's the pickups is really important. Like how many times you pick up your phone a day. Um, it's one thing to pick it up one time and watch a video. It's another if you're picking it up like every, minute, 5 minutes. Um, I found that sort of interesting to me. So uh, you've got to include a few things here. Let's not make it, too big a deal, but let's shoot for like 25 words again here about what you learned.
Okay. All right, here's what I wrote.
Right. I would agree that that's a good sort of all right, good. Okay, so you're doing really well here. The next part shouldn't be that hard because you're just rewriting all the stuff that you've already done. Um, I would this passage to read. I would say it's descriptive slash persuasive. I don't know. Let me see what the options are in your class there. I guess they don't. Do you feel like they're trying to persuade people?
Um, yes.
I do too, but
Like,
they're not like saying that directly. It's kind of like you do this as well.
yeah.
So the thing is you have to you have to give a summary of the article, which you can basically grab things that you've already read.
Yeah.
You know, you've already got this here, so let's grab that. Like, there's no reason to the article about that. You can even put this at the end that you know what you learned. But kind of in the middle here is where you're gonna have to add in some other stuff from the article.
Okay, got it. So wait, I have to copy some quotes or something?
No, you just have to summarize what the article's about, and to give you some context, like this is 50 words, so you need another 100 words of like what the article is about. Um,
Okay. Here's what I wrote.
Okay. So I think we're gonna be a little short on the word count here. But yeah, there's a lot, there's more to do in this, so we don't have to want to finish it off today. But the just for perspective, we've got 100 words. Yeah. So just you have to do a little bit more here. We could even, I'll just make a note, you could talk about how this is a persuasive article. We can talk about that next time. Like they're basically telling you, hey, probably just ban phones in school. Um, and then there's a part three. So let me grab part three for this. Let's see what that is. Augment. All right. So there we go. We'll finish this off tomorrow or do some physical science or both. We're meeting tomorrow at 10 and 11, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m.
Um, I don't know.
Well, I'm telling you, so 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 you're not
Oh,
surprised.
okay.
But we're meeting at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. tomorrow, and
Okay, got it.
up here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stop there for today.